Hey everybody, this is Adam Myerson from CycleSmart. What I've got for you here today is basically a cornering clinic. We're going to take a look at the Wilmington Grand Prix Criterium in Wilmington, Delaware. It's an 8-corner crit, one of the hardest crits in the US with a lot of attrition. It goes up a hill, down a hill, but in particular it's got a really tough last 2 corners that go from a steep downhill into a 1 lane, basically an alleyway, 2 corners, and then a long 30-second sprint to the finish line. How you take that turn really can impact how the rest of the race goes. So we're going to take a look at a bunch of passes of that turn and different ways to get that done. In this first clip, it's pretty early in the race, but the race is already hard. You can see we're single file coming down the backstretch. We're just about sort of at the top of the hill here where the field starts to bunch up a little bit. You can start to see that in front of me, but really what I want you to notice here is where we stop pedaling. Right about this point every lap, everybody starts to pause to set up for the turn. You see some people panic and start to go by, but you'll see on this first pass through, I'm leaving a little space for myself to the riders in front of me, so I'm braking less, rolling this turn, carrying all my momentum to the outside of the turn, riding through this little, I don't even know what to call it, they're plastic posts, but you can go between their part of the course, but rolling that outside lets me roll right back onto the wheel with a lot of exit speed, and that's the thing that we're going to emphasize in all of these clips. Exit speed out of that last corner, really critical. A little bit later in the race, similar setup, we're going to go back to this point every time and look at the differences between when can you stop pedaling? How big of a gap can you leave to the rider in front of you? How little braking can you do? And who panics, basically? Does someone decide to go by you at the last minute? Here I get a good run, but there's a little bit of bunching. I'm on the brakes a little bit, but I still kind of open it up here. Give myself all this space way on the left-hand side. Not afraid to go up on that sidewalk. It's part of the course. But most importantly, you want to see the exit speed it gives me. We're all up out of the saddle here sprinting, but I'm able to accelerate with a little less effort because of the smooth line I took out of the turn. Another pass here in our third clip. I'm really getting the hang of things here, and riders are starting to settle down a little bit. So I want you to see in this third one is just how big the gap I'm able to leave myself is, how early I'm able to stop pedaling. Even when a rider panics and tries to fill that space and go by me, I'm able to roll right back up, take that spot back, take a few other spots back, really again with no additional effort. Lets me roll right back on and again maximize the effort that I'm making out of that turn. In the next clip, what you're going to start to see here is the field is starting to split a little bit, and instead of using that opportunity to coast to just hold my spot, I take a few spots back leading into the turn, use it to hold my position. We're fighting for the turn a little bit, but I'm solidly on Shane Klein's wheel here. I leave him space to make the turn. No one panics, and again, just rolling it smooth. Exit speed is everything, and I want you to see that in every one of these passes. It's not about how fast you can enter that turn. It's absolutely about how much speed you can carry out of it to ease up. Here's an example of when things don't go your way. I'm stuck in the middle of the pack. I'm in a bit of traffic. I can't go where I want to go. I can't float to the outside, and that hay bale is on a metal post while the other ones are plastic. So I'm stuck going to the right side of it. I don't have much exit speed, and you can see from the movement of the camera just how big an effort I had to make that lap just to hold the wheel in front of me. Here we're midway through the race, and a lot of guys have been dropped. The field split a few times, but you see people still panic. They don't trust you when you leave the gap like that, and so you shouldn't fight those riders. Let them go by, it's fine, but then you line up the turn for yourself. One guy crashing off to the left here, but that lane's still open for me. I take all those spots back, a whole bunch more, and most importantly, again, look at the speed that I come up on this rider into the exit of the turn. They're all sprinting really hard out of that turn, and I'm probably still in the saddle just rolling the speed that I already had. Really critical to getting through a race like this. We're deep into the race here, and the race is single file. You can see the rider in front of me. There's a gap he's trying to close. Everybody's all in here, and you would think even more critical to stay on the wheel in front of you. Except, again, we get to that same point where we get to that top of that downhill. One rider's nervous about me leaving that gap, goes by me, has to make a little bit of an effort to do that. Watch the size of the gap that I leave here, and then how much speed I carry into the turn. I stop pedaling sooner, I rest a little extra, I roll this turn with a lot of speed. He gets up on the sidewalk there, and then look at how many guys I'm able to take back, how much momentum I'm able to carry. So I just turned a crisis point in the race for some people into an opportunity for me to move up and even rest a little bit while other people are essentially pinned. That's how you survive a race like this. In this clip, I finally have space. The field is smaller. We've been going hard for a while. Things are starting to settle down. But the most important thing you see here is this is probably the biggest gap I'm able to leave myself without anyone actually coming by me. And the amount that I'm able to roll right back on everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take about 5 or 6 spots back. And then again, exit this uphill corner with enough speed that I don't have to fully sprint out of it, and I can slot right back in. And again, save matches for later. This clip is almost a full lap clip, and what I want to show you here is the race is really full gas here, and there's a lot of attacks and counterattacks going, and I can't just sit in here anymore and use the turns to rest. I actually have to use the corners to move forward and cover attacks. So this is the top end of the course, downhill corner, flat section here into an uphill corner. I can tell by the way Shane Klein's wiggling his butt that he's anxious and he's ready to attack, and so I'm able to roll and anticipate that right onto his wheel, carried a lot of momentum out of that corner, up the hill onto his wheel, and I'm able to cover this attack. I notice the rider in front of me also wants to cover it, so rather than fight him for Shane's wheel, I pause a little bit, let him slot in, let him make the big effort, and just get right in on him, and he closes the gap back up to Shane essentially for me. We connect with the riders that are splitting away. There's still another move up the road in front of us. So everybody pauses for a second here, and again, I'm not pedaling hard here, I just have momentum. I use momentum to pop up around everybody, slot back in front, and I know there's going to be a counterattack because we still haven't gotten all the way across. So I'm ready for this counterattack, going downhill into the turn. Here it comes. 2 riders, a third rider over the top. Little gap on me here, but watch how again, I have a clear shot of this turn. I roll the turn, I take the widest line I can, tons of exit speed up the hill, and I roll right back onto this move without actually having to make an acceleration to do it. And while these guys are sprinting, covering each other's attacks, I'm able to just roll right back onto the 3 of them with a lot less effort than they're making. It wasn't easy, but it was easier. And again, that makes a difference in a race like this. In this clip, it's just a quick one to show you, if you get it all lined up and it really goes your way, how perfect it can look. It doesn't always go this smoothly. One rider still is a little nervous about the gap I'm leaving and pops in front. But watch how I'm able to roll right back by him. The field starts to bunch up here for a second. I'm able to come by so many people without any extra effort. And gaps are starting to open up. And with all that momentum that I carry out of the last corner, I'm actually able to close the gap and roll back up to the group. That makes a big difference because we're getting late in the race, and I'm able to actually use that momentum to even move up, not just stay where I am. In this last clip, what you'll see is it's game on. We're single file. Everybody's all in. Nothing happens in this turn that you haven't seen before. But what I really want you to see is how cumulative everything is because I've been saving energy in this turn or using it to move forward, I'm able to save that match, all those matches that I've been saving during the race, to put myself in a good position here late in the race. Gaps are opening up out of that corner. I have not made a big effort out of that turn, even though there was a rider you saw who just got dropped and opened the gap up because sprinting out of that corner takes its toll. This rider takes a big pull to close the gap, and I'm just waiting. I'm not pinned. Well, I should take that back. It was hard. But I'm not in danger of being dropped. I'm waiting for him to finish, and I'm able to come through and finish it off myself. And to be able to do that this late in the race when other riders are getting dropped, that's the difference between, getting top 10 and essentially not finishing. And if you're racing to win, it can be the difference between getting top 10 and winning. because that's a match you want to save for the finish. Hope this cornering clinic was helpful for you. We'll be taking a look at the final sprint in another video, so look for that shortly. Subscribe to the CycleSmart YouTube channel for more. I'll be doing updates like this throughout the season as I can. Thanks for tuning in.